last time we talked, you came on, we talked all about you doing Halo Infinite, and take me back to like the way you explained it to me afterwards. Was it like this was public information, right? Like there had been other people that had spoken about the information on the dates, or like had you heard something, or what exactly went on there?
Yeah, I mean, when I came on, I didn't even, didn't even know what Halo would come up or not, but I did. And the information I shared was out there, rumors, leaks, whatever, so there was some information out there about a release date and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have talked about it, in retrospect. You signed an NDA, you're not supposed to talk about it. So that aspect of it, I regret. But as far as the info, I didn't share that much. The stuff that was out there. But yeah, but hey, it created some buzz for the game, that's for sure. And I mean, not that it needed it, but it's huge now, man. It's man,
Well, the multiplayer got real. I just had two guys on talking about video games, and I didn't realize the multiplayer dropped already. So like or I guess the online stuff dropped. So
yeah,
it's like the actual campaign, which I think your character would be in, that hasn't been released yet. But like you can do, I might be wrong. I might get slammed by Halo fans. I just basically, like, what happened though was, for anyone listening or watching, we talked about Halo or Verlon's acting stuff, and afterwards, like I had no idea you were in Halo. I had no clue whatsoever, and I thought it was interesting. So I just put it on the Halo Reddit. I was like, I wonder if some people might be into this. And I went to sleep. The next morning I woke up and it was like, what? Like I looked at the YouTube numbers and they were just huge, like way more than what we normally do. And I went on Google and I typed in Verlon Roberts, and it was just every page just had your name, my name, your name. And it was so funny because they all cited Fadam and Friends, which is like, the name itself of this podcast was supposed to be kind of a joke because I hated being called that growing up. So I'm like looking at all Game Radar, all these different sources citing it. And then the picture of you and I were on all of these things. Like, dude, they were foreign, I think there was a Brazilian source. Like it was all over the world. I was like, what did we do? And I think I called you at like 9:00 in the morning, and did you know about it at that point, or like were you?
No, I hadn't even thought about it. You text me and then called me, and then I did the same thing. I Googled it and I was like, oh wow. And of course, they beef it up a little bit. They put a little, a little salt and pepper on it, to spice it up. But at first, I was just amused by it. I was like, oh, wow, definitely, they grabbed a hold of that thing and wrote it out. But yeah. And then my agent called me pissed, super pissed, like, hey, don't talk about Halo anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. Oops, my bad. Basically, like, really had no ill intentions. It just kind of came out in conversation and stuff. Like I said, stuff that I had seen, I didn't dream up that date. No one, told me that date secretly. It's just what I'd read on the internet. All right. So,
somebody had like already mentioned a date like that, and you were just kind of using it based off something that you had seen yourself.
Actually, I think I saw it initially on IMDb Pro, on IMDb, basically like LinkedIn for, all anything entertainment, and
that date shifts and stuff. It was like a throwaway comment, like that's when it's supposed to come out or project it, and everybody saw it and took this as like, oh, this is a leak.
I know.
And like we were just talking about you being in the Marines, and like your acting career it had nothing Halo was like, I had no idea that you were in the game. My reaction was genuine. And dude, it like hit its peak when I was on YouTube and there were YouTubers talking about you and I and like cutting up the video and using it. And then it had that stupid like cover art for the episode that Chase drew of like me going into the movie theater. It was like, there was no intent behind it. It was just like, it happened. But I do have to give you props, man. Like I talked to a couple people that morning, and I think with the way social media is and just entertainment, a lot of people in this space, like if that were to happen, those people would buckle immediately and kind of like take that situation and like try and push it onto somebody else or just like mitigate whatever their risk is. You stood your ground. You like at no point did you say like, hey man, you got to take all this shit down or whatever. And I respect it, man, because that like it took a lot of, I mean, to have those conversations with your agent and shit, like that's hard. And like I appreciate you not like kind of just being like, hey, drop everything, take it all down, and thank you. You know, like it shows a lot to me as a friend, and like didn't some good come out of it though with like 343? Like hasn't it led to some other like opportunities or is that?
I mean, I think it will in the future. You know, I don't think I think they were a little bit pissed at first, but you know, they're great to work with, man. Honestly, like going in to work with them, and that's what I always say is like, that's why I got into this, because it was literally like going there with a bunch of your friends, but you have the most badass high tech equipment ever, and like, hey, let's make a video game. You know, it just had that vibe about it. So they're great and understanding, and you know, it's a learning tool for me, right? I mean, I'm still what 3.5 years into this industry. I'm learning every day, both on the business side, the craft side, all of it. So it's a learning thing for me to you know, hey, stay on my guard. And you know, even though I did this stuff so long ago, it pushes back. You know, right after you did it, it's like the most important thing ever. You know, and then time goes by, and it's like, oh yeah, you did that so long ago. You just kind of talk about it, but I was just stoked to I was stoked to see those pictures everywhere. And like you said, the name everywhere, your name. So I was stoked to get some steam, you know, going with you. Because man, I mean, you freaking work hard on this. So I was stoked to get some eyeballs on you and what you're doing. And we didn't hurt anybody.
It
Free
was
marketing.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Like I felt like we broke the internet when it happened. Like I woke up, I was like, I couldn't have crafted something to happen like this. And like